What's up, Purple Group? Mr. Bistel here. Let's start with the warm-up. Here we have a Komodo dragon and a red-tailed boa. So the question is, why do Komodo dragons and red-tailed boas have so many differences even though they share a common ancestor? So yes, they look very different, but they're both reptiles. So the question is, why do they have so many differences? Let's look at their differences. So, legs versus no legs, jagged teeth, not jagged teeth, armored skin, not armored skin. So they are different, but they do share a reptile common ancestor. And what's the reason for that? Well, they live in two different environments. So, Komodo dragons are in Indonesia, which are islands, and red-tailed boas are found in South and Central America. So they started with a common ancestor, but because of their different environments, they have different traits. Let's go to part 2. Okay, so we are going to study australopes that separated into two populations, population A and population B. So population A, our goal, what we want is population A to have much longer necks. We want population B to have much stronger jaws. And I'll remind you that australopes with longer necks can eat taller thorn palms, taller trees, and australopes with stronger jaws can eat thorn palms with big thorns on them. So in the first population, what environmental change could have caused population A to evolve longer necks? Basically, any environmental change that will increase the height of the trees. I guess that's an environmental change in itself. Maybe the trees don't want to get eaten. Not that they have a brain, but maybe that's their adaptation, to be tall so that they can't be reached by australopes. And population B, what environmental change could cause australopes to have stronger jaws? I would say trees with big thorns would make that happen. So then you're going to test that in the sim. So we're going to open Exploring Species Change mode. That's down here. Let's see what we have to do. So make changes to the environment that you think will cause australopes to develop longer necks. So let's select the thorn palms, and you can change the starting height, and you can give it some variation too. I recommend doing both of those things. So I recommend trying taller thorn palms and adding some variation. You will also try to create stronger jaws. So the way that you can do that is down here with thorn size. So make the thorns bigger and add some variation once again. So we started with the same australope population, but we're creating basically two different species. Question here: the two descendant species share many similarities, such as the same color, same amount of fur. Why do you think this is? Well, they started the same. So they started as an australope common ancestor, but then as they go into two different environments, they become different. One will become tall and one will have strong jaws, tall neck. Okay. The Komodo dragon. The two descendant species of australopes may seem quite similar. Why do you think this is? Why do you think the Komodo dragon and the red-tailed boa are so much more different from each other compared to how different the two australope populations are? Okay, the Komodo dragon and the red-tailed boa took millions of years to evolve. Whereas in our simulation, we only run it for 50 generations. So not a long time. So I would say time is the difference. Let's go to part 3. Okay, we're back to our evolutionary tree, open mammals mode. Tree. Place these 4 fossil species in the 4 open locations on the evolutionary tree. Anthracotherium. So we gotta see where it goes. Nope. Wait a second. I'm not in mammals. That's probably the reason. Oh, okay. Artiodactyls. I was rushing. That's the ancient hippo. Daedon. This is the ancient pig, I believe. Elomeryx. This looks like ancient giraffe. Yes. Titanotilapus, ancient camel. So drag those to the right place. There's 4 of them, but they only want you to compare 2 of them. And what are some differences in their shared structures? Let's see. Let's just do the first 2. So I recommend looking at bones because that's pretty easy. All of them have radius, ulna, distal bones, and pelvis. But the bones are different sizes and shapes sometimes, but especially sizes. So just make some observations. And last question for this part. Since they share a common ancestor, what do you think could have caused these differences between them? So the differences in the bone structures are because of their environment. So the ancient Titanotilapus has to walk around the desert. So its bones are adapted for that. The Daedon is like a wild pig, and it runs around hunting stuff, so it has to be adapted for that. The Anthracotherium is kind of like a hippo, so it hangs out in the water a little bit, so it's adapted for that. So it's all about environment. And last slide. So we have these vocabulary words that you've learned. Based on your work from yesterday and today, Monday and Tuesday, record the main idea from yesterday and today, if you could combine that into one main idea. And please use this vocabulary. So remember that we thought about Komodo dragons and snakes and australopes, and today we thought about those ancient mammals. So I would probably use the words species, like creating a new species. Environment, we talked about a lot. Common ancestor, we talked about a lot. Descendants, we talked about. So you don't have to use all these vocabulary words, but use the ones that are important to you. That's it for today.